sounded like something extra.
What's going on, everybody? It's Mike and Wendy. You are in the marriage shop. Welcome. It's Monday night. And hey, you're in the marriage shop, y'all, whether it really doesn't matter what condition your marriage is in. You need to come into the shop. You can use something here.
That's funny. Or, I mean, it really doesn't matter if you're married or not, if we're being honest.
That's true. And we are being honest. So, it's about marriage, not necessarily totally for married folks all the time. Because, in fact, on Second Mondays, we focus specifically on some things that are relevant to single people. Although, a lot of married folks find that those topics are they apply to them as well. It's just when you're married, they apply in slightly different ways. So anywho, so that's Second Monday, but that's another story. Yes. Welcome, y'all. Hey, listen, this is the last Monday in July. It's unbelievable, which means schools are about to get cranked back up again. Mm-hmm. I kind of forgot that school even existed. See, once your kids got out of high school, the dates hit a little bit different. So I forgot that school even existed. I'm like, what, school?
That's true.
That's a thing?
I mean, we deleted all of the apps that related to school. We unsubscribed from all of the Board of Education emails.
That's right.
We completely disconnected ourselves from anything related to school.
We did.
Those schools. Now, college, that's something else.
Yeah, that's something else. That one hurts a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I was looking,
I was
distracted because I was looking at our image and it looks like that doorknob is like an earring.
Wow, that's some serious distraction right there.
I mean, did you see
serious distraction. Anywho,
it's like,
okay, stop it.
Okay.
See, I don't, so I don't need the people in the background. KC, what's up, cuz? Welcome back. He said he's gonna shut up during this one. Okay, maybe not. I don't know. That seems to be a challenge. We'll find out.
Oh no, we don't want you to be quiet.
He said no, I ain't. You got me.
Yeah, there's no need. Camilla Freeman, thank you.
What's up, Camilla?
Thank you. You always know how to build me up. I appreciate that. We're glad you guys are dropping in every week for the marriage shop.
Yeah. Are you gonna show the people your new look for this week?
This is my new look for this week.
I know, just give a little side view.
Well,
she's so beautiful, don't you agree? Oh, turn the other side then.
That way.
Yeah. You good? Okay. Yeah. All right. So look at that.
I mean, unless you wanted me to take it down, but yeah.
Oh no. Well, you can if you like, though. Yeah.
So I mean, and that's kind of what gave me the idea of what we should talk about tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Right. More. So we've been married for 23 years, as you guys know, and we want to know from you as well, right? So usually I talk about what the weather is like here in Evans and that we're still here and that we missed you and what we talked about last week, but we may as well just get into it, right?
I mean, right, because how many times can you say it's hot? I mean, how many ways can you say hot, sticky? That's what it is. Moving on.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Hey, Charlotte, you're in Tennessee now. Yay. Congratulations to you guys. We know you were in the midst of a move. And guess what? We're going to be in Chattanooga in September.
That's
Not
right.
sure if you're close to Chattanooga, but let us know. So what we were talking about. So we've been married for 23 years. And hey, Cynthia James Walters.
Hey, Dr. Walters, what's up?
And so there are a couple of topics or discussions that we have, right? Conversations that we have around a number of things. So one of the things is when I first met Mike, my hair was really short. I had maybe about 1 inch, right?
Maybe.
I mean, it was a really close
had a tight
cut.
Fade.
It was not a fade.
I mean, it was pretty much a fade.
It was not a fade, but I had a really, really close haircut. And so over the years, I mean, I change my hair up all the time. I'll grow it long. I'll cut it short. It's crazy because usually in the summertime, I'm ready to grow it long, like right now, which is crazy. And then when it gets cold in the wintertime, I'm like, man, this stuff is out of control. I need to cut it. It makes no sense. So anyway, but every time I'm about to do something with my hair, I check in with Mike. I'm like, wait, I'm going to the hairdresser or I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think about this? I always kind of check in because I care what you think.
Yeah.
And so sometimes though, you'll say, well, it doesn't matter what I say. right? Or it doesn't matter what. That's not true.
Well, I mean, so no, well, so sometimes I will say it doesn't matter what you do because I like it however you wear it, right? So
Yes.
it doesn't matter, like what I say. That's like other stuff, right? I mean, the hair, but yeah, very often I'll say it doesn't. I met you when it was short, and then you grew it long when Sydney was born. It was pretty long,
It's pretty
and
long.
so you just kind of fluctuated back and forth over the years, and I mean, so that's one of those things that for me the hair is not as big of it. It's not an issue in terms of, hey, I have this thing I like. A lot of guys out there have this thing that they like, right?
Yes.
I say a lot of guys, yeah, but a lot of women too. Like there's a certain way you want your man to look, right? And so I don't necessarily have that as it pertains to hair.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, but
you do have a thing about fake hair.
I do have but yes, I do have a thing about fake hair. I mean, over the years, I've had a thing about fake hair, right? About, but that's not exactly okay. So it is about anything that didn't grow there naturally, right? And so, but there's kind of a reason for that, right? It's just not I have a thing for that thing's sake, right? Because it's a long story. But with Wendy in this particular case, when she said, "Hey, I'm going to get braids," that was an eyebrow raiser. I'm like,
yeah.
What? Because yes, because that is something. There's a lot of things over the years that she's done. That ain't one of them. So, yeah, and so yeah, that I was like, I don't know. So now I start getting. We'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Before we do though, I wanted to just shout out Ron Harvey.
Yeah.
Had a birthday today, actually.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ron.
Yes.
Also, I want to shout out, who was it? Was it Deb who had a birthday?
Yes, Deb Hill.
Deb Hill had a birthday last week. Shout her out. And so if you've had a birthday, happy birthday to you. And all that. So,
or if you had an anniversary, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Christina Janae has a birthday.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
25. Only because I just 25. Saw that post. Yeah.
Yeah. So lots of good things happening. Yeah. So what we're talking about kind of has a little bit to do with hair, but more with kind of the whole look, right? Yeah. And so anyway, this came up because what?
No, I was going to just say, and these are one of those things, right? We caught after last week when it was, we kind of have the, what do you get what you want when you don't get it? What do you do type thing?
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, they're all simple things, right? And so we thought, well, shoot, this one is kind of a simple thing. So we all up in a series right now. It's the simple stuff series. These are the simple things everybody talks about. Many people talk about anyway that come up, but don't really talk about it out loud like this. But the funny thing is, things like, hey, I didn't get what I wanted, or your hairstyle changed, or I'm going to change my hair, I'm going to cut my hair off, whatever. Yeah, that can create a little dust up at your house.
Yeah, it can, especially when there are preferences, and maybe those preferences are not expressed until something changes, right? And so, I don't think any of us has the expectation that the person that you married or the person you're in your long-term committed relationship with, that they're going to look exactly the way they looked the day you met them for the rest of the time, right? I don't think anybody has that expectation. But at the same time, I think that most people don't expect people to change that much. And so, but you can answer that for us. So, is it true? Did you have an expectation that your spouse or your partner would look exactly the way that they looked when you met them for the duration of your relationship or your marriage?
Wendy, are you trying to set the people up or something?
No, I'm just asking the question.
I think you're trying to set them
up.
up.
I'm asking the question. Did you have that expectation? Because like you said, I mean, I've heard things like men in the South prefer long hair. I've heard things like exactly,
that's hilarious.
Casey. Yes.
So that's why we look at the models. You got to know where this thing is going. hilarious.
You gotta see it to the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to know what it's gonna end up being like. Nicolette says, "I was just wanting a change. I think 2020 had us all looking for ways to change."
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get into that a little bit. You're kind of
Mm-hmm.
right on that for a number of reasons. I'm gonna talk about that a little bit.
And I like to know from Ron Harvey what we're talking to the CEO about. So just hit me up. I might have missed that. So what are we talking to the CEO about? We might see. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So just in terms of when you met the person that you're with, did you expect that they would look that same way in terms of maybe their style, their hair, their vibe for the duration of your relationship or your marriage? Just curious about that. So I was saying, I've heard that men in the South prefer long hair. I've heard that men don't like women with short hair because it makes them look masculine. I've heard people say, I don't want to dress alike because then we look like our aunt and uncle from the 60s.
Well, I've never said that, but I mean, how alike are we talking?
You don't like to dress alike. Like a lot of couples.
Are we talking about like matching shirt?
Right.
Like,
a lot of couples dress exactly like at church, for example. We've seen those couples where she might have on a dress, like a burgundy dress, and then her husband has on like a burgundy shirt that looks like it's the same fabric. I mean, and I see people respond to that and they're like, hey, hashtag couple goals. I mean, yeah.
So I'm gonna try to withhold on that for the moment. Yeah. I mean, hey, if you got some extra fabric and you try to match that thing up, I don't know. That's cool, I suppose. I mean, but it's coordination. Now, there's coordination, and then there's like matching, right?
Yes.
Matching is like uniform. Like I'm gonna get it in like an XL, and you're gonna get it in a small, or I'm gonna get it in like the men's version, but it's like the identical thing. Which one are we talking about? What are we talking about?
That's funny. We're talking about a lot of things, so keep the comments coming. So, but here's what I know. I mean, and we'll kind of share what it's been for us, right? So we're talking about and while we're talking about the fact that I kind of said, hey, I think I want to get braids, and that was a change for us. We've had conversations about hair and clothes and style over the years, right? Even Mike's hair. So when I met him, he was bald, which is kind of funny, right? With no facial hair. So he had like no hair. And then
but my cheek was like cha though. It was like, yeah.
So when I met him, that's what he looked like.
Yeah.
And then you grew hair because I said, you should probably grow hair.
You will notice in our pictures I'm bald when I meet her. And when we get married, I have hair.
Right.
So I had to find.
And you have really nice hair.
I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's hair. I mean, it's. I mean, it's okay. I mean, really nice. I don't know.
It's really nice hair.
Sorry.
So then you grew your hair, and it gave you a softer look, which is kind of the conversation that we had.
Right.
Right.
But it also, that was fine for our relationship. For my Army life, though, people looking at me now like I'm a kid. Like, oh, look at this kid. I'm like, this kid been around for like 10 years.
Oh my goodness.
So,
but I kind of encouraged you to grow your hair.
You
right?
did. Mm-hmm.
And then years later, I said, hey, you should try to grow hair on your face. And you were like, I can't grow hair on my face. Remember, I encouraged you to kind of grow some facial hair.
You basically told me a lot of lies.
I did not tell you.
Yes, you did. I'm like, look at this. It looks like I got problems. I mean, you like, oh no, it's great.
No.
Just get a little trim up. You'll be fine. I'm like, that was not true.
It was not true. If you look at some old videos and some pictures, you grew a beard that you said you couldn't grow.
Well, I mean, I use the word beard loosely.
It was a beard.
I mean, there was more hair than there was. I mean, eventually something had to happen, I guess.
Yeah, but it looked really good on you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
Yeah, and so
see that's how they get you right there to keep talk that talk, and it's like, okay, I keep growing it. It's looking crazy, but I'll keep trying.
It looked really good on you, and so here's the thing. I mean, and you may have said this. A lot of people say this. I wouldn't have you going out here looking crazy.
Yeah,
right. I wouldn't have you. I wouldn't recommend something or give you something or lay something out for you to have you looking crazy because it reflects on all of us.
I suppose it does.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay. So McNeil, she says, I understand people change, but I also understand life changes. We can hope so, but not really. Speaking to the expectation that they won't change over time. And then she says they dress alike at times, color not exact, but probably in the same family, right?
Coordination.
I
I'll
got
take
the
it.
whole short hair deal before.
And,
Yes.
and by the way, who said short hair masculine? Who are those dudes? And if you hear, you can holler at me, but come on, dog.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it just
continue.
depends. Nicolette says, for the most part, yes, but he was military, so it was dress right dress. Yeah, know that. Since retirement, he went Wolverine on me. And I'm okay with it. See,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's cool. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Cynthia Walter said, husband had lots of hair. Now he's bald. Yeah. Welcome to the club. And we dress alike. 43 years married.
Yes.
So are you giving us a little tip there, Cynthia Walters, a little on the side?
We want to hear about that. I love what Casey said. We laughing at whoever comes into church dressing the same. We've all been there, right? Charlotte says we coordinate but not matching. That's good. And Christina, hey, we gave you a birthday shout out. Happy birthday to Big 25. Yes. McNeil says I wore my hair and you scrolled up, so now I can't see it. I wore my hair straightened and in braids. Locks was a whole new deal. Yeah, and locks, that's another conversation, right? To get into. And it's a long-term commitment. It's a hair commitment. The question is, did you check in with your spouse before you made that change? So I started with one question. The first question was, did you have an expectation that the person you're in a relationship with would be exactly the same for the duration of your relationship? Would look like, style, vibe, hair would be the same for the duration. Now I'm asking, do you check in with them before you make a change? Before you change your hair or your look? Are you checking in? I think it's a good question.
Yeah, and do you need to check in? Yeah, everybody's all about that coordination. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. Right. But do you need to check in? That's the question, right? Or is it like, hey, this is my look at a time? No, I'm saying I just repeated it. No,
the question was, do you check in?
Oh, and then it's like, do you need to check? Oh, that's what I added that. Yes. My bad. Okay, do you check in?
Do you check in? So, the Dubois are here. Thanks for joining us, guys. Cheryl? Yes. He said you better grow that hair if you. I got it.
He said, sure. Yeah, man, I was patchy. Matter of fact, patchy to this very day. That's right. Genetically, we just ain't got it with the beards. We're tall, but we're tall. So when we start growing beards, you can kind of see it's a little thin up there. It takes some time. You gotta talk to it.
Oh my goodness, it was growing in fine. I mean, I'm gonna leave it alone, but. Yeah. So, right, exactly right. Because I'm not trying to look crazy. Yes, aging brings changes. Say more, Cynthia. And then Ron says, I never expected Linda to look the same forever. I actually enjoy watching her change. Mm-hmm. That is. I'm glad you shared that. Yes. So Christina says your braids look so good. Thank you for that. Cynthia does not check in. Okay. And Jessica says, I did, but I still did what I wanted to. Now he loves it. Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of us kind of have that experience. So I love this. Charlotte says, I don't check in. Eric doesn't even notice when I get a haircut. In his defense, though, I don't usually go drastic.
Yeah. I'm not mad at, Eric. Wendy will go and I will, I don't know. I know she's going to get her hair done. She'll come back. I swear to you, she looked exactly the same as when she left. I'm like, what are we paying this lady for? Okay. There's some changes I miss. Like color changes too. I'm really bad with color change.
Yeah. Well, now, there's no color change now. Okay, so there's color change now, but now it's like, man, did you notice that this whole area right here is white? And he's like,
yes.
Yes.
From out here, we can see. We can see it.
So I'm not dyeing it anymore, but there's definitely still color change happening. So anyway, it's kind of a fun topic, right? We can make light of it. What?
Yeah. Do you check in?
Do I check in?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that kind of at the
I
beginning.
mean,
Like,
but would you consider that checking in, like saying because what you said to me is I'm thinking about getting braids.
yeah,
I mean, is
yeah,
that
that's checking in. That's
is
kind of
that checking
testing it
in?
out, right? So if I say I'm thinking about getting braids, and you say no, or
I
I
mean,
don't know about braids, I'm not sure about that.
there,
I don't know.
there's only one hair thing I said like just straight no to.
Oh, what was that?
You don't remember?
Mm-mm.
I think you might have been talking about like when people were shaving or whatever. You're talking about the shave thing. Like, what if I did blah blah blah? Like if I shaved side of my hair, I was like,
No.
nah, absolutely.
Ah.
I don't think so.
Mm.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, yeah, I check in, but here's the thing. I mean, when
The informal check-in. That's
right.
funny.
I mean, it is the informal. I kind of float the idea to
Mhm.
get a general feel for how you might respond.
Mhm.
This was taking a risk because, truth be told, I had not had my hair braided for like 38 years.
Right.
Yes.
And you said take it. It's funny because by the time you said, "Hey, I've been thinking about it," I think you like made an appointment.
Well, that's
right?
what you said. You were like, yeah, whenever you say you're thinking about something, you've
It's
like
done.
already planned that thing
So
out.
I've been around long enough to
Yeah,
know when Wendy
yeah.
said when she's floating ideas,
Mhm.
that means she's been researching, and it's as good as done, probably. So
Sometimes,
wait.
but it does matter what you say, and
Mhm.
so I take it into consideration. But like somebody said, maybe they end up doing what they wanted to do anyway. That often is the case, but I do check in.
Mhm.
And so it's kind of then I had to prepare myself. But even though I checked in, even though you weren't like, no, I don't think that's a good idea, I was still apprehensive. I mean, even
Yeah.
all the way up until I got home and you weren't home, and I had to wait for you to get home, and I'm like, what is he gonna think when he walks through the door? I had to wait.
I was apprehensive.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's it gonna be? I don't know. And then like, what am I gonna say? Because because you almost have to get to a place where, at least for me, it's like, okay, you know what? I mean, there's only one answer, right? You are beautiful, and that's 100%, and it's in there. But hey, but hey, the girl killed it on those braids, though. So it's like it was real.
But here's the thing: I don't want you to lie,
right?
And so I think that's why. While this could be a simple thing, right? We're talking about a simple thing. It's kind of light, but I don't want you to lie about your response to me.
So what do you want?
I want the truth. I want you to be honest.
Oh, wait a minute.
I want you to be honest.
Wait a minute.
Well, wait.
You said,
so go back. I want the truth.
You said you want the truth, right?
Yes.
So, all right. I'll pose that to you all, fellas.
Yeah.
Like, if she loves it and you don't, do you tell her the truth? Like, and does it matter if you don't love it, does it really matter? I mean, do you tell her the truth? If you're just like, I don't know about that, but she's like, this is it.
That's another good question. So Sabrina says, I had a whole look made up in my head for what I wanted my husband to look like, but he's super rebellious and does his own things. I just gave up, but I consoled him about what he likes me to wear, which is a good pair of jeans. He loves natural hair and encouraged me to go natural before I did. So again, right, it is kind of it's not a group decision, but you are checking in with each other, right? I know that there are couples that we know that there is no checking in, and it's just like you just wake up that day and you get what you get, right? And it's not just on one side. Like, I mean, you might wake up and your husband shaved his head. I mean, how would you feel about that?
Yeah, how would you feel? Because Casey said, women tell what's happening.
Yes,
husbands check in. Yeah, I think there's some truth to that. I think some people co-sign it. I mean, like before I shaved my head, did I not tell you I was going to shave my head?
You said you were thinking about doing it.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, and then I said, okay, I think you should do it.
Yeah, and then I'm like, cool, green light. Because if she had said, I don't know, because that's what Wendy does. She's like, but like, so she won't say I hate it. She just will not say I love it. She'll be like, So, and then she'll start asking about alternatives, right? So, I mean, what do you think about the fade you got last time? Right? So it's a subtle way I've learned that when she doesn't like something, like she will find ways. Something she's just like, I don't know, I don't care for that. Like she has a thing about some darks together, blues and blacks, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or there's all kind of stuff. Like Wendy bought like what 60%, 70% of the shirts in my closet. right? It's a trial and error thing, and so, but
Yes.
it doesn't necessarily mean she dresses me right. So we don't do the whole layout the outfit thing. But when I put it together, I'll be like, Wendy.
Yeah, that's true.
And
And then I
what
go,
you think? What you think? Right. That's exactly what she does.
So then I take a look from head to toe. I mean, but you try, you do a good job.
So sometimes she's like, I'm like, yep, not trying to hear it. Gotta go. Bye. Didn't ask you for that today.
That's true.
But,
that's true.
Yeah.
And so, the difference between when you're dating and you're not living together, you get dressed up, say you're going out on a date, you get dressed up, you are trying to look your best, and then you show up. And then it's kind of like, surprise. This is the look I'm rocking, and then there's this whole dance around, yeah, you look good, or I like that, or whatever. So it's a whole, we're testing it out. It's a whole trial and error type thing. But then you get married and you're in the same place, so it's hard to like surprise you with anything, like, because it's like you have like some kind of radar or something. Because if I'm in there and I'm trying to surprise you, like I put on something and I want to just like come out like ta-da, and he'll like come in there, and then I'm like, or freeze. I freeze.
Like Spidey sense is like, something different is happening.
Yeah, I mean,
let me take a walk to the closet,
like,
see what's going on.
You're
here.
just like in there, like. Yeah.
But I mean, look, but what is it? About half the time I'm like, hey, is that new? You're like, no, I've had this for like 6 months, 6 years, whatever.
That's true. That's true. So every now and then you notice if something is new, but not all the time.
Hey, but most recently I noticed something, boom, just like that.
You did, because it was something that you picked out.
But I didn't. Well, I mean, I saw it. I didn't pick it. I was just like, hey, what do you think about that?
That's
I was
another
testing
thing.
the water.
So for us, we rarely go shopping together because it's just not a mutually enjoyable experience.
It's not mutually enjoyable.
But we happened to be shopping together recently, and you saw a dress, and you were like, yeah, so what do you think about that dress? And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's cute. You were like, yeah, I was thinking you might look good in that. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. So I went to see how much the dress cost, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. But then I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? He said, I like that dress. That was like direct feedback. That was an easy one, right? So I should have just got the dress when he made all those comments. So I went back and I got the dress. So then I was going to surprise him with it. It's the dress I had on. If you guys saw my post this past weekend for date night on Friday night. So I'm trying to surprise him with the dress. I put the dress on. I'm trying to come out. So I just walked out the closet fast.
So that's funny. And it's like, I'm like, something feels different. And I just looked. And there it was. I'm like, wow, wait a minute. I know this dress.
And then you rolled up on me and you were like, is that the dress that we saw? And I was like, is it?
Yes, it is. I got to see some of these comments on honesty.
Yes.
I got to see where y'all are
Can
coming
you
in.
handle the truth is the first one that I saw. Don't fall for it, Mike.
Exactly, Casey.
I can handle the truth. But okay. Happy wife, happy life. So we've seen that. And I saw somebody recently that said, it was London actually on their page, where he said it should be happy spouse, happy house, right? And so, there's something to that. So London tells the truth, but he starts with, I'm going to say this with love. That's good. That's good.
I guess it's good.
Yes.
We'll see if it works.
It's good.
I mean, not me for, I don't know.
We'll see. Cynthia says, my husband is always honest. He likes it or when he doesn't. No, when he likes it or when he doesn't, but he's okay when he doesn't. However, I rethink it next time. And I think that's wisdom right there, right? So, I mean, I may not necessarily go and change right in this moment, but I do make a little mental note that this particular thing didn't work for him, whether it was hair, whether it was clothes, shoes, whatever. So yeah, that's good. Sabrina says, I value his opinion because I want him to look at me like, oh yeah, she's mine. Yes. I mean, and so that gets to another question that I have for you guys. This is, I didn't know Jeff was going to cut his hair. Oh, interesting. Sometimes it's a surprise, right? But well, I'm not going to ask you, did you like it once he did? That's getting into it. And so.
And sometimes like with the facial hair thing too, we, we kind of been back and forth about a lot of things. And sometimes like, I'll like when we're particularly early on when I got out of the army, like I came in one day, it was just like boom, I think I'm done with this. I'm stop trying, and she's just like basically, now I have to I have to keep some hair on my face, or when they would look at me differently.
Well, yes, that is all. So a lot of those. So shaved head, yes, please. That's what Lisa said. And then Brian says shaved head is definitely a plus in the McNeil house. At least she's subtle. Eric says I did shave my head without a check-in. Fortunately, Charlotte liked it. Yeah, and this became a thing too during COVID. A lot of men who didn't have beards prior to COVID suddenly had time or couldn't get to their barber or whatever else. So all of these beards, and they call them COVID beards, all the people re-emerged with like beards.
It was crazy, right? I mean, there are people, and there was a mask thing, right? So there are people who like, boom, mask off, and it's just like, like, wow. But a lot of people did grow beards.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. I don't know. So y'all looking at pretty much my COVID beard. This is pretty much what it got to be.
No, you actually had.
I mean, I had some down the side. But,
and then you shaved it off.
Yeah. I think you took, because Wendy.
I did.
Wendy. So my face. If you look at our curtains in the house, so you probably know what my face gonna look like, right? Because when we go to the winter curtains, Wendy's like, okay, time for you to go ahead and let that grow a little bit, let it grow. Come on, and then when it gets warm, the curtains swap, light colored curtains, pillows change. You're probably gonna see my facial hair change too.
That's true. That is true, because I mean it's a seasonal change, right? And so just like with your clothes,
would you please help her to understand? Like some people, they can change their hair, like they shave it, and then a couple of weeks later they rocking and rolling. Like if you see something that looks like a beard, and I'm never gonna let you see it close. Watch, I'm always like I'm keeping it moving. I'm brushing it a little bit here and there. I'll never stay completely still. But when you have your beard grows like mine, seasonal change, it's like it takes 6 months to make that transition when trying to bring that bad boy back.
Yeah. Well, I like what Ron says. He says giving your spouse an opportunity to weigh in can make it easier for them to buy in. And so yes and no, right? I think that kind of goes back to being truthful, being honest. And, I think the check-in is a good thing, right? It's a courtesy, because how many of us have had the experience of just kind of doing something because we wanted a change and not getting a favorable response, right? And so it's like, I'm grown. I'm just going to make this decision. I'm doing it. And then you do ta-da, and it's like...
What did you do?
What were you thinking? And so here's my next one. So that is a question, right? But you don't really have to answer that one because we don't want to start anything. But my next question is, what is my next question?
You are so funny. So,
I know, it was like right there. I had a good question too.
The next question was like, so you check in, so you don't. What difference does it make, right? I mean, ultimately, do you like? And I can tell you, Wendy been through some phases: hair phases, clothing phases, earring phases. There's certain things though, I'm just like, I don't think so. But most stuff, I'm just like, hey, baby, go ahead, give it a shot.
Well, here's the thing. You do have an opinion about it. I mean, and so I know that there's some people are just like, I don't care. I don't care what you do. But you do have an opinion about it. And so I respect your opinion, and I create the opportunity for you to weigh in, right?
Yes.
And so if this is a particular challenge, so we're saying this is simple stuff, right? But just like last week when we talked about how something small can become something huge, is simple, and we're kind of making light of it. But for some people, this is a major thing.
Oh yeah. For some people, it's like, no, this is what I want, right? Like your hair, that's the way I like it, period. That's it. Like this type of clothing, this is what you wear, right? Too much skin, take it off. Right? It's all that. Some people.
Oh, yeah. Now I have an opinion about that.
Oh yeah, what? Talk to me.
No.
Wendy has actually banned some of my clothes. Me, right? She's like, yeah,
Yes.
those jeans.
Mm-mm.
Give them the Goodwill. It's like, what? I like these jeans. What are you talking about? Like,
Mhm.
that ain't gonna cut. Right?
That's right.
That will happen from time to time.
Yeah, because this beard, this goatee that he has, is pretty full. And it actually gets really thick. He's talking about all of the hair when he tries to grow hair on the sides. Which, if you look at some old pictures, he did that successfully. But we're not here to talk about Mike's facial hair.
That's not, because there's not much to talk about.
But in terms of checking in and whether or not it's a thing. So, here was the question. When you are considering what it is, whether it's your hair, your clothes, your vibe, whatever your style, are you choosing something to please your spouse, or are you trying to please other people?
Oh, that's actually, you know what?
That was the question.
I thought about it for an extra half second, and that question dropped in a little bit deeper. That's a great question. As for me,
hold on.
Okay,
let's let them.
Y'all answer that question. I'm gonna just because I have an answer for that.
Yeah. So if you didn't hear that question, the question that I asked was, when you are choosing or making a change or whatever, when you are selecting your hair, your clothes, your vibe, your style, are you choosing things to impress your spouse or the person you're in a relationship with, or are you trying to impress everybody else, other people? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can imagine that for some folks that might be a challenging question to answer.
Yeah, it might be. And if it's a challenging question for you to answer, then it's the right question, right? We want to spark conversation. We want you to have the difficult conversations that maybe you've been avoiding. And maybe that's an indication that there's something that you need to talk about that you haven't talked about. Just saying. Yes. So what?
No, go ahead.
Oh.
Anyway.
Brian says definitely my spouse. Casey says husbands talk cautiously. Cynthia says pleasing myself and maybe him, not others. That's good. That's funny. Definitely Eric. Sometimes for the girlfriends too. I think women dress for other women. That is a really good point. And I think you're onto something there. Nicholas says, I did it for me. Him liking is a bonus. That's good. Lisa says, no one else's opinion ever occurs to me, at least not to the extent that it impacts my decisions. He and I may not agree, though. If it's major, I at least run it up the flagpole to get his reaction. That's good. Cheryl says, from London, I try to please Cheryl. She puts me in check if I veer towards anything that might make me look old and crazy. Yeah, that's good. That's good. And I mean, and then you're kind of getting to whether or not you trust what they're telling you, right? Because we've heard that too. Like you don't want me to wear this because right, because I'm gonna look too good, because I'm gonna draw too much attention, and you want me to look like, somebody that should not leave the house.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wonder if that's a valid concern for people who have it. I mean, for me, yeah, it just, there are certain things I like. I never really think about what anybody else is going to think about it, except for you. So if I like it and you don't, well, that thing probably is going to hang in the closet. Interestingly enough, there's some, in fact, there's some things, and I tried to be like, man, whatever. But there's one shirt, one or two in particular, she's just like, I hate that shirt. And I'm true. Like, what is this shirt? This is I love this shirt. And so then I'm looking at it like, you know what, shirt? Wendy don't love you. So she don't love you like I do. You might have to go.
I don't know. The older you get, that changes. Because I know one day I walked in here and you were wearing the shirt. It's like you knew. Yes. I'm wearing the shirt that you hate. I guess
the more accurate statement is most of the stuff you hate is just like, well, okay. I mean, maybe I don't love it either. Like I thought I did. I did. So, but I mean, I think there's an extra boost when you like what it is when it comes together, and you like, yeah, that right there, that works. And
Yeah.
I'm like, ding, okay, reinforcement. Let me take a mental note of that.
Right. I
But
mean, because the truth is, I like to look at you, and so
mhm,
when it all comes together in a nice way, then I have a responsibility to let you know, right? And not just to give you positive feedback when you do things the way that I like them,
mhm.
but sometimes you surprise me. I mean, sometimes, and I think. And you kind of have a way like, yeah, I did this.
I mean, I don't. It's not like I woke up like, see what I did. Look at me. I mean,
I know,
I know what
but
I'm doing.
yeah, but sometimes you're like, yeah, I know.
I knew you were gonna
Like,
love that. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
come on over here, give me some sugar, and let's
yeah,
go.
exactly, exactly. So Cheryl says, I have my own style, so more about me than anyone else, but London seems to like it. And yeah, I mean, and ultimately, I think that speaks to the fact that we were drawn together for a reason, right? So it was
Mhm,
probably something about your style or your vibe that attracted that person to you in the first place. But
mhm,
as many of you have said, over time things change. And I was sharing with Mike not too long ago that often when women go through something or some type of change or a crisis or whatever, that often the first thing they'll change is their hair. And so it's an indicator. Not always true,
So
but it's often the case. In this case, I'm not having a crisis or
I'll just say,
anything.
like, your hair is super long. I'm like, wow, the crisis is really real.
No, no. So I'm gonna talk about that. So
Mhm.
Sabrina says, since my husband is the one I want to attract him, but if someone else makes a comment about it looking good, that's an added bonus and confidence booster. But his opinion and the way he looks at me is what I care more about. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, because that is a thing,
Oh
right?
yeah.
So it could be that I put on some, and this has not happened to us, but scenario,
Mhm,
that I put on something, you say you don't like it, we go out, I don't
mhm,
change, we go
mhm.
out, and then somebody else says, wow, that's a beautiful whatever.
That dude is always out on the street, y'all. He's always he's always there. Trust. He's always. It's just like
It's not just that dude.
beautiful.
There's always too some woman,
Oh yeah, always.
and to be honest, whether it's male or female, we've gotten that feedback from both.
Mm.
I've had women that that comment Mike, and I mean the compliment Mike, and we've seen men checking you out too, and I point that out like, man, makes me feel some kind of way, but it is true.
Like,
Mm-hmm,
how do I
mm-hmm.
want to be in this situation? I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
So I like this. Yeah, crisis hair alteration is real. And London says Cheryl kept telling me that I was wearing dad jeans and I couldn't see it. One day I looked in the mirror and said, "Dad." Finally, I saw what she saw. That's good.
Oh goodness.
Justice says, dropping in to see what wisdom you're giving
What's
away
up,
this
bro?
evening.
Good to
So,
see
hey,
you.
Justice, thanks for dropping in. So,
Yeah.
what we're talking about is really kind of in the area of dressing your spouse, right? So, we're in the Simple Stuff series, and tonight we're talking about whether or not you check in with your spouse before you change your hair or change your clothes or choose your vibe, and how important is that, right? And so yeah, Casey says yes. McNeil says I usually get women compliment on my attire. Jeff gets the guy eye at times. I like that. He got so upset. It's kind of funny, right?
See,
What?
yeah, no, I was just saying. I mean, that's it's it's just a thing sometimes. And I got I got trained up way back in the day working in the grocery store in Norfolk, downtown Norfolk. It's a long
Mm-hmm.
story, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that so you just got to learn how to deal with that, and get upset. It's because it's kind of like, in terms of being upset. I think
Mm-hmm.
some men get upset, say if men are checking out their wife, right? Some people are like, yeah, yeah, that's my woman, whatever. But some people don't necessarily like that. I've just come to a place where Wendy's a beautiful woman. She's stunning, right? So she walks into a room and it's just like pow. And so I know if I don't take in too much, because I will cut somebody. I said it. I will. But
Yeah, you get the
but
crazy eye.
I'm living a new life now, right? I'm in a new place. So I just kind of roll with it. It's like, yeah, she's beautiful, whatever. And so yeah, so if you get the guy eye sometime, it's just like, okay, I'm just keep it pushing in the same way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So and on this one, right? We're not saying that you should ask permission. We're not saying that there's a right answer to any of the questions that we're asking, but it may be one of those things that seemingly is a small thing that might become a bigger thing, right? If we're not paying attention to it. And often people will start to question things. So things like infidelity, for example, right? Oftentimes, if someone changes their look, then people make assumptions, right? And that's what's been said. Well, who are you trying to look good for, right? Or where is that reinforcement coming from?
Now, yeah. So if that conversation is happening at home, then there's serious trust problems. Period. Point blank. In the story, right?
Yeah.
So whether or not those are justified, that's a whole nother conversation. But there's some serious issues if that's the question, because if you can't change it up or look beautiful or whatever, without permission, I don't know about that. So if that's the thing that pops up when there's a change, dig deeper, because there's more there than just the look that you've chosen, right?
Yeah. Might be. So simple thing, but could be something deeper, could signal something deeper. So it might be a conversation that you need to have. Cynthia says, Mr. W is meticulous in his dress, gets compliments, men and women. I'm used to it. He cares about his looks.
Translation, y'all. He's sharp. S-H up. Sharp. That's what that means.
Yeah. I mean, and that's good, right? I think we should be able to celebrate our spouse. We should be able to compliment each other and celebrate them. If they look good, I mean, tell them they look good. It's not just about the husband noticing that the wife has made a change. That goes both ways. But taking the time to pay attention, right? Did you do something different? Or I see what you did there. One of our good friends says that you should be your spouse's number one and first cheerleader. And I agree with that 100%, because that once you step outside of the home, there are going to be other people who will jump at the opportunity or the chance to give your spouse a compliment. So yes.
So don't get all salty if somebody else gives your spouse a compliment and you neglected to do so.
Yeah. So
just because they see what's true, but I try to do a better job of just, when I recognize, like, there's certain, maybe this pair of shoes, I'm like, I like those shoes, or there's something about what she's wearing. I try to, like, not just think it, but to say it as well.
Yeah.
You
do. Yeah. I mean, and it makes you feel good. And I think I saw something, I think it was on one of the reels on Instagram, but they were talking to an older couple, and the older gentleman was saying that he calls his wife a flower. And the daughter was asking him, well, why do you call her a flower? And he said, because, when you take care of a flower and you nurture a flower, it blossoms. And it becomes more beautiful. And I thought, I mean, isn't that what we all want, right? And that's just true. When you pay somebody a compliment, when you're sincere in building them up, when you use your words to build them up, then they blossom, right? They are more confident. They are more comfortable, and you get the best version of them. And so sometimes we just need to be reminded that the critical eye doesn't necessarily have to be a critical tongue, right? And so that we need to. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Amen.
So we need to be intentional about noticing and, recognizing, noticing, and acknowledging all those even the little things. And so, okay, so about the hair, because we're running out of time. So it's been about 38 years since I had braids. And one of the reasons my hair is real thin, and braids won't just like stay in my hair. But since then, there have been advances in products and everything else. So 38 years, hadn't had braids, checked in with Mike. I wasn't exactly sure, but there were a number of reasons. So not a crisis situation, but I've shared, hey, I'm 50 and it's hot at 50. It's like, man,
you hot at 50.
I'm hot. Yeah. So I mean, I'm hot. Yeah. So So I wanted to try it. Number one, it's a cooler hairstyle, and I don't have to mess with it. It's a protective hairstyle. And even when we get into protective hairstyles or natural hair, that's a whole conversation too. I like that Jessica shared about before she got dreads, right?
Mhm.
Having that conversation. And so, yeah, but I was nervous and I wasn't sure what he would think or say when he got home. And so I'm glad that in this case, it turned out to be positive. So I mentioned that you don't like hair that's not real hair, but I have a lot of wigs too. And
Yes, you do.
so, and my sister-in-law kind of freaked me up with her. She got serious wig game. So there's something
Shouts out to Cuddles and Dangerous.
But there's something to changing it up every now and then.
Yeah.
Even if you're switching it up or changing it up just at home or when you leave the country. Which is what it was. It's like, yeah. So I'm just saying there's something to be said about that. So anyway, I decided to do it, but I had to confront some things even about my own biases. And I was like, is it going to be less professional if I get braids? And how would people respond? I really did ask myself those questions, if I'm being honest. And ultimately, I'm like, hey, it really doesn't matter. It will be whatever I make it, right? And so I made the decision. I was supported by my husband, and I love it. And so, and one of the questions that he asked, which was funny, was, "So, what are your options with this? Like, can you? Is there a different style that you can wear with this?" So I've had it styled like differently, like every day.
Not only every day, like at different times of the day.
In the morning is one way, and yeah, that's funny. Yeah. So see, we weren't even gonna put you out there, but yeah. So Nicolette said, "Well, I'm sorry." Jessica says Jeff was like that. I wore wigs for a long time. Yes, it can add a bit of excitement. Just saying. Nicolette says mine would have asked how much. Just don't break the bank.
I actually did ask how much. We were talking about hair all, for like, I don't know, a long weeks.
Yeah,
so I did. I was curious because it can be a grip.
Yeah, it can. It can. I mean, Lisa says I have vacation hair right now. Kiki, yeah, Kiki got it going on. Yes, that's funny. And then he made the adjustment. Oh yeah, so Rocco and Tracy, personal summer all the time. Exactly.
What's up, Rocco and Tracy?
Yeah,
Tracy
it's been a while. And where are you guys? I don't know if they're not still in Hawaii.
No, I think they're East Coast, right? Florida right now.
Oh,
y'all let
us
know.
I
think you're in Florida.
Yeah. Well, welcome back. Yeah. Oh, she says yes. My sister paid $300 for wigs. I can't. Yeah, me neither. But anyway, so we're having fun with it. But again, it might be a conversation that you should have. So what are the takeaways? What did I say? A critical eye doesn't have to be a critical tongue. Use your words to build your spouse up. And try to recognize and acknowledge when they are switching something up or making an effort, and be the primary cheerleader when they do.
That's right. Yeah, be the primary cheerleader. Be the loudest cheerleader.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's about things are going to change. Looks are going to change. And so you don't, if you're one who is really adamant, just, hey, I don't want that. I don't like that for you. I don't know. I would just say, just take a look at that, and don't forget who is in those clothes, in that hair, same person.
Yeah.
Right? And it's to some degree, when I see Wendy, when I like really see her, I can't see anything else. Hair,
that's good.
Clothes, none of it really matters that much.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and we always provide a scriptural reference. So I'm not sure what scripture it says, but we know that we were all, wonderfully made.
fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yes,
in the
yes.
image of God.
Right.
So
So you have to know and be confident in who you are, the way that God made you, right? And so we didn't get into body modification or any of that stuff tonight, but I think fundamentally, you have to know that you were made in God's image, that you were fearfully and wonderfully made, right? And so when it's difficult to find that beauty within yourself, then look to the word because it's there, right?
yeah,
There is so much to love about who you are, even if maybe sometimes the world doesn't notice, or the person closest to you may not notice the small change that you made. It should not make a difference or be something that really damages your relationship. Yeah.
So we're getting ready to get out of here.
Mhm.
Tim Jones, I'm not gonna let you do it. You trying to keep us in here for another hour? Not doing it. Michelle Moore Wilson, welcome. Y'all check out that replay.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, we're gonna get out of here.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much. We appreciate you. We love y'all so much. Thank you for supporting the Marriage Shop, for being here. And we'll be back next week with a little something. Wait a minute, will we be back next week? You know what? Actually, we're gonna be here. It may be an abbreviated thing, but yeah, we're gonna be here just for a few minutes next week because I want to just like be like, yeah. I want to throw up next week in y'all's face a little bit. So we'll be back.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Thank you, Nicolette, for giving us that scripture, Psalm 139, and thank you all. If you're in the Augusta area, we're actually doing a little rebrand and a ribbon cut tomorrow, so you can catch us downtown at 1010 Broad Street. And maybe you haven't met us in person yet, but we'll be there.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And that'll be on the business side. So we'd love for you to stop by 4 p.m., 1010 Broad Street tomorrow, and at Augusta & Co. So that's
up on the third floor. So we're going to pray and get y'all out of here. Can I put my arm on your chair?
Yes.
Okay. I don't want any trouble. Heavenly Father, we just come tonight just thanking you. Thank you for how good you are. Thank you for blessing us. We ask that you watch over all these couples. We ask that you bless them, bless their homes, bless their relationships, their families. And when we look at each other, God, just help us to see what you have made in your image, God. Help us to love better. Help us to forgive quickly. And we do it all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, everybody. That's it. Oh, and by the way, go subscribe to us on YouTube. I know you're here, but subscribe on YouTube as well. All right. And share this with somebody if you think they'll like it. All right.
Yes.
So we'll see you all later. Take care.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's your boy JC. I'm in the mood. Love. Yeah. Lately I've been constantly thinking about you, babe. You drive me crazy. Yeah. And girl, I want it. Got me all up in my feelings. Oh, what a feeling, yeah. I knew the first time I laid eyes on you that you would be here forever. I'm not being arrogant, and I still can't take my eyes off you. 'Cause you made me better, so much better. I'm in the mood to love you for a lifetime. I'm in the mood to love you for a lifetime, baby. I love your kindness, I love your confidence. Ooh, you're the finest. So glad you're mine, yeah. I don't wanna be with nobody else. Give me your love, that's all the wealth I need. Baby, you're priceless to me, yeah. lifetime. I'm in the mood to love you for a lifetime. Yeah. Whoa. Promise I'ma be around. I'ma always hold you down. Won't you come and hold me now? Won't you come and hold me now? I just got no cool. Yeah, I know I got a rule, but I always keep it down with you. Yeah, and I know they see, girl, you're my queen. And beauty speaks for itself, loud and clear. Yeah, so throw it in the air. It's the sweetest sound to follow my ear. And I want the world to know I'll love you forever. And that's a long time, babe. But I got time for you, baby. I'm in the mood. Ooh, for a lifetime. I'm in the mood to love you, yeah. For a lifetime, baby. Ooh, yeah. For a lifetime. Oh, for a lifetime. Yeah.